JDBC is a Java program which is used to connect a database. Now question comes like, what is a database? So normally a database can be defined like it is a collection of some information arranged in the form of rows. Technically speaking, it is called as relations. Arranged in the form of rows and columns. And these columns normally, columns are said to be attributes, and each attribute is having some type in the sense, let us say if I want to store any address or if I want to store any name. So in Oracle, if I'm taking example, in Oracle we'll be using varchar, or we'll use something called as varchar 2. Varchar 2. So this varchar and varchar 2 are nothing but data types in database terminology. Same way, if I have C language, we have data types. If we have Java, we have data types. So same as database terminology, we have some data types. So these data types are entirely depending upon database what we are using. And rows in a database are normally called as records. So each row is nothing but a record. Okay, let us start with some introduction part of JDBC, like what it is all about. Let us learn the architecture. So JDBC, as we know the full form, that is fine. What is JDBC? As I said, JDBC is nothing but a Java program to connect to any database. So in real time, normally we have Oracle. We have a database called as MySQL, which is open source. If you are using PHP also, it is used normally. You have a database called as SQL Server. If you are working along with .NET application, SQL Server is used. Also, you have a database MS Access, DB2. There are so many. In our sessions, like entire advanced Java, will be covering two databases, that is Oracle and MySQL. Frankly telling, if we know how to work with any one of the database and everything is same thing, okay, that we'll understand slowly. So we'll work with two databases, that is Oracle and MySQL. Now coming with what is JDBC. As I said, JDBC is nothing but Java program, or it is a Java technology capable to connect any database. Okay, let us understand this, why we need to use a JDBC. So we'll take the help of one diagram. Let us say I have an application, and this application, let us imagine we have in bank. So in bank application, we have some application, and this application, what it requires is, it requires one input. That input is nothing but some account number. So if I give input as account number, some account number, what it does is, it displays all the details of account. So let us imagine these are nothing but some details displayed. So requirement of this application is nothing but I need to enter some account number. Okay, as a layman, if I don't know anything about Java or anything, so as a layman, we might be thinking like if a person is entering account number, there is one person, and this person, what he is doing is he is picking up the account number and he is fetching everything from the record. Let us say he's checking into files. What I'm trying to tell is he's fetching this account number and this person is checking in files. So if I go normally manually, this is the thing, it is happening. So this account number is fetched by the person and it is checked into files. But this is like time taking process. And also, let us imagine now I have much knowledge about a program and how it is working. So let us say this account number is nothing but my account number. And if I'm talking about another account number, let us say Sai is having another account number and this is nothing but Sai account number. So again, let us say have Sandeep's account number and likewise I have Mahesh account number too. So these account numbers, if I am trying to fetch by using some program, we might be thinking there is one program written for Mahesh and one program it is written for Sandeep and one another program it is written for Sai. But it is not the case. It is not the case. There is only one program which is written and that program is kept here. So this program is nothing but your Java program which is connecting your database application. Sorry, you are connecting with your Java application, that is nothing but banking application. And here these files, if I'm talking about it is connecting with database. So what I'm trying to tell in this entire discussion is there is no separate program written for Sai, Mahesh or Sandeep, but there is only one single program which is doing the task of connection and also retrieval entire thing. So this connection in between, what we are able to see, this connection is able to happen only due to one concept, that is nothing but JDBC. In short, I can define JDBC is written only once and can be repeatedly used. It can be repeatedly used. And let us say this database, right now I am using Oracle. So normally a JDBC program requires few things like driver and it requires URL. We'll discuss this one. Let us go back to our PPT. So JDBC is nothing but Java program and Java technology which is capable to connect a database. Okay. And what example we have discussed is this one. Okay. Bank application. Okay. We are not reading this one. We'll move ahead. Now coming with what is database. So we need to habituate with the terminology. So we are going for some part of base. After that, we'll go for programs. So a database is nothing but collection of information that is organized so that it can be accessed, managed and updated. So handling the database is totally done with DBMS, that is database management system. And as I said, we have so many databases and we'll be working with Oracle and MySQL. Coming with database tables. Tables are just like Excel tables, Excel sheets. In database table, it consists of two things. One is columns and we have rows. Each column contains a different attribute. Attribute in the sense it is having a type. It has some type. Each row corresponds to some record. So rows are nothing but normally they are said as records. Okay. Moving ahead. What actually a JDBC? This is another definition. So JDBC is nothing but API specification developed by Sun Microsystem. Now it is by Oracle. Defines a uniform interface for accessing different relational databases. So relational database, relation is nothing but table. So database is arranged in the form of tables. That is the reason we are telling as relational databases. JDBC is core part of Java platform and is included in JDK. This line I want to explain, that is to work with JDBC, no separate software is required, because reason is JDBC classes, predefined classes, I am talking about predefined classes and interfaces are already included in JDK. Already we have downloaded and installed JDK for our core Java. So whatever we have done with JDK, JDK also consists the classes and interfaces. So no other separate software is required to work with your JDBC program. We require only JDK, and it is nothing but one kit which has all the classes and interfaces used for JDBC. This is that point. Now moving ahead. JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity, and it provides standard classes and interfaces. As I said, API is nothing but some classes and interfaces. Why we are using those classes and interfaces? Just to access any relational database from a Java program. The same JDBC program works to access any database with light modification of driver name. Now let me explain like how it is working. Let us imagine this is nothing but your database, and I have one Java program. So this Java program, my target is I need to connect with database. So in between I have something. This is nothing but I can imagine this one as JDBC. Now this is very simple. Okay, Java program is connecting with database, but which database? Normally, let us say I am taking up Oracle. So if I am connecting with Oracle, there are two main things. To connect any database, we require one fundamental thing, that is nothing but a driver. We'll discuss what is driver, but for now we require some software, or we require some program which is nothing but a driver. So this driver is totally depending upon this database what I am using. So driver for Oracle is very much different when I am comparing driver for MySQL. See, if I am using Oracle, I need to use a driver called as Oracle driver. But if I am using MySQL, I need to use MySQL driver. So what I am trying to tell in this, Java program remains the same. Database, if I am changing, I need to change the driver. In short, I can tell driver is depending on the database used. If suppose my database is Oracle, my driver should be Oracle driver. If my database is MySQL, my driver should be MySQL driver. Now question comes like, what is this driver? So we can define this. Driver is some set of programs which acts as an interface between two different hardware. Two different hardware systems or two different hardware. We have example for driver I can give. If suppose I am purchasing a new mouse, this mouse, let us say this mouse is, maybe we can go for Microsoft. Okay, this mouse company is nothing but Microsoft, and I want to connect this mouse to my system, but my system is having different configuration and different company. Let us say my system is of Acer or any other company. So this is one separate hardware and this is nothing but separate hardware. So to connect two different hardwares, there is something in between, that is nothing but driver. That is the reason when we are putting our pen drive, when we are inserting the pen drive in the USB port, it is shown drivers installing or driver installed successfully, because inbuilt the operating system is having few programs which are getting automatically loaded whenever I am inserting the pen drive. And also when I am inserting my keyboard, it is automatically showing new hardware device detected, because there are some drivers which are automatically loaded in the system whenever I am putting this or inserting this mouse and keyboard. But all the drivers are not loaded automatically. Few drivers we need to externally provide. What I am trying to tell is the drivers are not by default coming with the system. Few drivers, JDBC drivers, we need to provide externally. Now, if you are getting confused with this driver concept, I can make it very simple. Oracle database is given by one company, that is nothing but Oracle company, and it is also releasing one driver. The driver is nothing but this Oracle driver. So this Oracle driver is given in the form of a class. So a class is used as a driver. In that class, already some predefined code is written which is helping a Java program to connect with Oracle. So a class which is given in some jar file. So jar file is nothing but Java archive. Let me show something. Let us say I am going for maybe D drive. Let me check. See, if you see library folder, here I am trying to show one jar file, that is nothing but mysql.jar. So this mysql.jar is nothing but one jar file which has the JDBC driver to connect to a database called as MySQL. Likewise, for Oracle, I have a class which is present in the form of jar file, okay, which is helping us to connect to the Java program. So far, to conclude this entire discussion, I can tell one thing. Driver is used to connect any Java program to a database. And who is providing this driver? Driver is provided with the company itself, that is nothing but, let us say I am talking about Oracle company. So Oracle company itself is giving some driver, but the implementation of this driver is given by third party companies, that is other companies. So driver implementation is given by other companies. That is not required for now. So ultimately we can tell driver is nothing but which is used to connect a JDBC program to a database. And the program what we are writing, this program is almost similar. There is no change, but what is changing is the driver depending upon the database. So I can tell few interview questions here. Interview questions are nothing but is JDBC platform dependent or independent? So guys, we have a question. Question is JDBC, I can tell JDBC program is platform dependent or platform independent? So answer for this one is it is platform independent. See, reason why it is platform independent is it is a Java program. So wherever Java is coming, Java is platform independent. That is the reason it is also platform independent. But you may think Java program is connecting with Oracle, but it is again changing. It is changing something that is nothing but it is changing driver. So I can highlight one thing. Driver is dependent. So driver is dependent, but not the program. Same JDBC program can be utilized with other program. Let us say in future, I don't have Oracle. In future, I am changing something Oracle to, I am changing to MySQL. So instead of this MySQL driver, that is this one, I need to take the help of a driver. The driver is nothing but MySQL driver. And this driver, I have already shown, this driver will be coming in the form of one jar file, this jar file. So what I need to do is, this jar file, I need to take the address. I'm talking about this address. This address I need to copy and I need to set in class path. And we know how to set in class path. Go to properties, and after properties go to advanced system settings. Go to environment variables. Look for here class path. Okay, not there. Look in this. You can go for edit. And ultimately you can paste there. Put a semicolon. In my system it is already set. That is the reason I am going for cancel. You need to click on OK. So if you are clicking on OK, meaning is you are providing the driver which is coming in the form of a predefined class. So this class will be representing MySQL driver. Any doubt in entire discussion, guys?
No, Akash.
Okay.
No, Akash.
Okay. Fine. Let us move ahead. We know what is a driver now. Okay, let us see the theory part as well. So a driver is nothing but basically a program which controls the device. As I said, I am keeping a pen drive, and that pen drive is operating due to a program only, and it is automatically getting loaded. So a driver is a software which is provided by hardware maker, obviously, that tells the computer operating system and software how to work with the hardware. Okay, let me give one example. Example is nothing but I am buying or I am purchasing a printer, new printer. And whenever I purchase a printer, it comes with one CD. It comes with one CD in which it is having some driver. Or let us say I am purchasing some operating system, and in that operating system I need to install some drivers. So those drivers are provided by hardware manufacturer only with the help of some CD. Because driver is nothing but some software which is helping two different hardwares to work. That is nothing but printer and operating system. So printer and operating system is able to interact with one another because of one program only, that is nothing but driver. So driver is very important in our entire discussion. Let us move ahead. Example. Every device, whether it is a printer or a disk drive or a keyboard, must have a driver program. Okay. Many drivers such as keyboard driver comes with the operating system, that is internally. For other devices, you may need to load a new driver when you connect to the device to the computer. Okay, it depends on devices. If I am purchasing like printer, I need to load externally, but if I am purchasing a mouse, few inbuilt drivers are already there in system, that is operating system. Okay, moving ahead. Now we are going to discuss something about JDBC architecture. This is very important. If we are understanding this, we'll be able to understand the first program, okay, in future. So the JDBC API is not so much great or something unique. API is nothing but a class or interface. Few classes and interfaces are there. So JDBC API comes with one class. There is a class, first class of JDBC, first predefined class. Class is nothing but driver manager. Driver manager class is fundamental to connect a database from Java. So to connect a Java program to a database, you require one class. That class name is nothing but driver manager. First class of my JDBC. So driver manager uses a extra driver that is very specific to connect to a particular database. Meaning is this driver manager is taking the help of one driver. And this driver is entirely depending upon the database what I am using. Let us say I am using a database called as Oracle. So which driver I need to use? Obviously I need to use a Oracle specific driver. And Oracle specific driver is talking with the driver manager and it is connecting to Java program. Let me show one diagram. This is my diagram. So Java program in which I am writing few lines of code which are related to JDBC. And in this JDBC API, I have one class. That class name is nothing but driver manager. And this driver manager is taking the help of one driver. Will learn what is ODBC, one driver which is very much specific to Oracle. So if I am using Oracle, I need to use Oracle driver. If I am using one database called as Sybase, I am using Sybase driver. If DB2, I am using DB2 driver. In the entire diagram, if you observe carefully, the database are changing, but the program remains the same. Meaning is the program is not depending upon the driver. The program is independent. But what it is depending upon driver used. If I am changing my database, drivers are changed. So I can conclude one thing. When I am writing a program for connecting any database, in future if I am changing the program, I need not change the lines of code in the program. I need to change only the driver information. Meaning one program can be used to connect multiple database. Only slight changes are required. Those slight changes are nothing but the driver details. Now coming with what is written here. We have something JDBC ODBC driver. And we have ODBC driver, and also again we have ODBC driver. Let us discuss this. What is this ODBC driver? See, if you are from CSE IT, you have a concept called as types of drivers. No harm if you are from electronics background or EEE background, no problem. So types of drivers. Normally, if I want to connect any Java program to a database, we have total 4 types of drivers. So normally we are going with type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4. These are nothing but types of drivers, and target of these 4 types is ultimately only one thing, that is nothing but establish a connection from Java to database. And if you observe here ODBC driver, this ODBC driver is nothing but this driver, that is nothing but type 1 driver. Normally type 1 driver is called as JDBC ODBC driver, or few people also tell us bridge driver. So few people also term it as bridge driver. Okay, now question comes like how to select which type I need to use. Normally in real time you will be using type 4 driver. There is a reason behind why we are using type 4 driver. Okay, why we are not using all these driver. So we'll discuss type 1, type 2 and type 3 drivers. Okay, and coming with type 4 also. And we'll be discussing programs using type 4 and also type 2. Okay, much programs will be discussing about type 4 only because it is used in real time. So let us check what are these types of drivers. Sorry, this was the question. JDBC is platform independent or dependent or independent? So answer is it is platform independent. Now question comes, JDBC is database dependent or independent? See, JDBC is not something unique. JDBC is nothing but, in short, I can tell, it is a Java program. So Java program can never be dependent. If it is dependent, so platform independency nature goes. So JDBC is not platform dependent. It is independent. And JDBC is not database dependent. What it is dependent? The dependency comes only with driver, but not the program. So JDBC is platform independent as it is written in Java, and it is also database independent as same JDBC program can connect to any database with minor changes. When I am talking about minor changes, I am only talking about the driver changes. So these driver changes we are talking about. Now ODBC driver, as I said, the first type of driver is given by ODBC, and ODBC is having one full form. ODBC stands for Open Database Connectivity. So Open Database Connectivity is nothing but ODBC. Okay, we'll discuss about type 1 in this. Now coming back to this one, it is database dependent or independent. So driver is database independent or dependent. So driver manager, that is nothing but a class, connects to database through a driver. Driver can be anything. For now, it is nothing but ODBC driver. The ODBC driver is database dependent. Obviously, database and driver both are dependent. But driver manager is database independent because it is related to Java. When database changes, only the driver link in the Java code is to be changed, but not all the code. There is like repetition. Okay, what I am trying to tell from last few minutes. This driver is only changing, your program is not changing, only driver is depending upon the database. We'll check with the types of drivers too. Okay, advantages we have. Advantage is nothing but JDBC comes with universal API. Universal API in the sense that works with every database. Maybe Sybase, DB2, SQL Server, if you are going with MS Access, going with MySQL, Oracle, every database it is used. For every database there is one driver. JDBC can connect to any vendor specific driver, including ODBC driver. See, these drivers are given by Oracle or MySQL, that is database manufacturing company. But the implementation is given by third party vendor. So it can connect to any vendor specific drivers. One more point which is repeated, JDBC is database independent. The same JDBC application can be used with another database by simply switching to database specific driver in the code. So I need to change the driver only. Okay. One more last one. JDBC meets the demand of enterprising application. That is nothing but shopping cart application or Facebook or Twitter. These are nothing but enterprise application which involves connection pooling and few distributed transaction. Meaning of connection pooling is nothing but, let us say I am connecting to Amazon.com or any other shopping website. There are only limited connection. So this connection concept is totally taken care by server what we are using. In future, in servlets concept, we'll be discussing about server. So this connection pooling concept is also supported by your JDBC. These are few advantages. Now let us go back to types of drivers. We'll discuss about types of drivers, and before going to this one, let me tell few things. Type 1 driver. Type 1 driver is called as bridge driver. Why it is called as bridge driver is your JDBC program, that is nothing but JDBC calls are getting converted into ODBC calls. Let me explain with the help of one diagram. See, here you have one Java application. So this Java application is written entirely by using JDBC API. This JDBC API is taking the help of one driver, and as it is type 1 driver, I can tell it is nothing but JDBC ODBC driver. JDBC ODBC driver. So in short, Java application is interacting with driver, and this driver is taking the help of this Java program is taking the help of driver to interact with one database. So this JDBC API is interacting with driver, and driver is interacting with database. But slight understanding is required here. The understanding is nothing but this program, this Java program is written in Java language. That is fine. Driver is provided by some company. Let us say I am talking about database. Database understand only a language called as SQL. See, if I want to talk with any database, there is one specific language. That language is nothing but SQL. So SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So in short, from this diagram, I can conclude one thing, that is JDBC calls are converted into ODBC calls, and ODBC calls are getting converted into SQL call. Here, if we observe, so many translations are there from JDBC to ODBC, ODBC to SQL. So problem is there are so many disadvantages. Disadvantages is nothing but slow performance. And why slow performance is there? It is very much slow. Reason is nothing but there are so many translations in between JDBC to ODBC, ODBC to SQL call. And one more disadvantage is we need to install the driver in every client machine. See, understanding of this one, second point, we need to install the driver in every client machine is nothing but this part. I'm assuming this part is nothing but client. Let us say one client is present which is in India, and this part what you are able to see, there is nothing but server. Let us say it is present in US. So likewise every client, let us say 100 clients are present in India. So what I need to install is I need to have one driver at every client place, and in server we have one database. So that is one drawback. Installing every driver in every client machine, it becomes headache for the programmer, and also it gives slow performance. In real time this driver is not used, and it is having so many drawbacks, like very soon it will be removed from the types of drivers. Any doubt till here, guys?
Because like if you have the type 1 of JDBC, ODBC driver, we need to install the client we need to install the drivers in every client
Every
machine.
client machine. Like if we are using this type of architecture, or if I am going connection by using type 1 driver, I need to take this ODBC driver in every client machine. So that is one drawback. And driver is nothing but one software, so I need to install that software in every client machine.
ODBC, what ODBC stands for? What is that? Okay.
ODBC is nothing but open database connectivity.
Okay.
And what it is, let us say I am talking about a software, and that software I have released into market. Only name I have released into market, and what all coding and implementation is done, that implementation is given by a company called as ODBC, that is open database connectivity. So this is not written entirely in Java. See, ultimately I can tell in one simple line, Java is written in Java language, database is written in SQL language, but there is no understanding between Java and SQL. So there comes one interface in between, that is nothing but one driver. So driver is acting as interface just to make the Java application and database to talk.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other doubt, guys?
No, gosh.
Okay. Okay. Let us move ahead. So in short, I can tell it is nothing but bridge driver. Why we are calling it as bridge driver? Reason is nothing but, we'll discuss this later on. Okay. Why we are calling it as bridge driver? Reason is nothing but, as you can see in the diagram, Java application is connecting with database, and in between I have something called as one bridge. So it is acting on bridge. That is the reason it is called as a bridge driver. Now coming to second driver. Type 2. Type 2 driver, the entire diagram will be same, but here we don't have any ODBC driver. Let us say it is using type 2 driver, and this type 2 driver is connecting with server, and inside server you have one database. Now question comes like how it is able to connect that one. See, ultimately Java program is taking the help of driver. Driver will be coming in every program. So it is taking the help of the driver and it is connecting to your database. And this driver is provided with some library files. Library files in the sense, let us say if I am using Oracle. Oracle is having few library files which is provided here. That is nothing but this library files. Okay, this type 2 driver is also fine, but this type 2 driver is having few problems. Problems are nothing but it is little faster when compared to type 1, but it is slow when compared to type 4. See, type 4 is fastest of all. So it is little faster, but it is slow. Why it is slow? Reason is nothing but your Java calls are getting converted into library specific calls, and after that they are converting into database calls. See, as I said, database will understand only one language, that is nothing but SQL. SQL is nothing but structured query language. So if I want to talk with database, I need to use one language called as structured query language. So first Java calls are converted into library specific calls, and library specific calls are converted into database calls. So translations are there, but there are not much translations, okay, when compared to type 1. Type 2 is also having translation, but it is a little faster when compared to type 1. And one drawback is nothing but we need to load the library files in every client machine. See, as I said, if I'm using Oracle, I need to load Oracle related library files in every client machine. That is nothing but I'm assuming this is nothing but my client side, and this second box is nothing but my server side. So when I compare with type 1, it is little faster, but again it is taking time. Reason is nothing but this one. Java calls are getting converted into library specific are getting converted into database call. See, we need to assume a lot, okay, and it will be almost clear, 100% clear when we are checking out with first program, but little amount of base is required to enter into first program. I hope at least the diagram part and this drawbacks part is clear.
Yes, Akash.
Okay, we'll go ahead with type 3. Great. So we'll go ahead with type 3. Okay, type 2 disadvantage is nothing but it is little faster when compared to type 1. Okay, it is little faster, and let us move ahead with type 3. Type 3. See, this type 1 and type 2 are nothing but treated as two-tier architecture. I'll come to that what I have telling, okay. But this is called as three-tier architecture. It is nothing but three-tier architecture. So understanding of three-tier architecture is, it is having one Java program, and this Java program is interacting with one middleware server. In some network, and it is interacting with your database. There is nothing but your database. If you see, I have 3 different boxes, and I am trying to tell it is nothing but three-tier architecture. If you observe my last diagram is having only 2 things. That is nothing but one client. This thing we are treating as client, and this is nothing but server. But here, this is not. This entire thing is not the client. Client is nothing but this system, and this middleware server is a separate server. And this is nothing but my main server. So Java program is interacting with middleware server is interacting with database. Problem with this type of architecture is nothing but middleware servers are very costly. See, normally servers are very costly, so I cannot afford this type of architecture, okay. And normally this type of architecture are rarely used. If you have a high budget, go for this third type of driver, okay. But normally it is not used because these are very costly. And also one more thing, this one drawback. One more thing is, if middleware server is damaged, or if it is not working, entire architecture is spoiled, or it is not running. Meaning is, if this is getting damaged, okay, your entire architecture is getting spoiled, because Java program is depending upon this one and database is also depending upon this one. In short, I can tell one thing: Java is interacting with middleware server, let us say MS, and it is interacting with server, and vice versa. Server is also interacting with middleware server and it is interacting with Java. So middleware server, if it is getting spoiled, these two things cannot interact with one another. And one major thing is nothing but it is very costly. Okay. But type 3 driver is also giving performance. Okay. But translations are there again, because here Java program is interacting with middleware server and it is interacting with database. Few advantages are there. Maybe, I don't know, you have observed or not. Okay. Few advantages are there. Advantages are nothing but we can get pure Java client. See, meaning of this pure Java client. See, if you are referring different websites related to Java tutorial, all these definitions you will be getting, but understanding about this one, pure Java client, okay, is nothing but, if you observe this highlighted thing, in this client side, only Java program is there and nothing extra is present. That extra part is very much independent. So I can achieve a pure Java client. But in my last program, if you observe, along with Java program, I'm also having a driver. And we know driver is not written in Java. Okay, it is written in some other technology, maybe C or C++ or any other technology. We are not bothered about what driver is having, but driver is not present in Java technology. So in earlier type 1, type 2, driver plus Java program is present in client. That is the reason it is not pure Java. But now this driver is present very much far from this client program. So this is nothing but type 3. Let us go for type 4. Type 4. Type 4 is having many advantages. Type 4, what it is doing is, it is having Java application, or I can tell Java program or JDBC program. And in this, it is having a driver called as type 4 driver. And this type 4 driver is directly interacting with your database. So this Java program is directly interacting with the database. That is the reason type 4 driver is also called as direct Java driver, because there are very less translation from Java application to database, and it is very fast, meaning is it gives high performance. And in coming classes we'll be using type 4 driver R programs for our programs. And going ahead, very thin, or in other term I can tell very less translations are there in type 4 driver. That is the reason it is also called as thin driver. Okay, this is regarding all the type 4 types drivers. Okay, now let us come with the technical terminology, like different names are given. Okay, we people are calling it as type 1 driver, that is JDBC ODBC driver, which is also called as bridge driver. Type 2, type 3, again type 4. Okay, let us come with the terminology what it is using. So type 1, if I am going with type 1 is called as JDBC ODBC bridge driver. Now going ahead with Type 2, type 3 is called as native API. Native API it is called, reason is nothing but I need to load some library files. And if I'm loading library files are not related to Java. So it is also called as partly Java driver. Type 3, as I said, it is 3-tier architecture, and I can achieve pure Java. Pure Java in the sense I do not have anything other than Java. Type 4 is called as native protocol, pure Java driver. That is nothing but last thing what I have discussed. Okay, I'll just show it once again. If you observe here, I don't have anything other than Java application, and few translations are required to talk with database. That is the reason it is also called as thin driver. Okay, we have certain description. Like according with diagram and everything. Okay, we have certain things. Okay, here if you observe, I have written something called as result set and SQL command. SQL command is nothing but to talk with Java with database, you require something called as SQL, that is structured query language, and result set is nothing but, see, so far in JDBC we have learned a class called as driver manager. In future we'll be using this one, driver manager. That is nothing but one class which is used to connect to a Java program to database. Driver manager is a class which is used to connect a Java program to a database. And you have something called as result set. Result set is nothing but one interface. Okay, just for now we'll remember what is result set. Result set is nothing but an interface, and driver manager is nothing but one class. Okay, this is nothing but type 1. We have type 3. If you see type 3 diagram, we have Java application. It is taking the help of driver, and we have middleware server, and after the database. So it is 3-tier architecture. This is 1, 2, and 3. 3-tier architecture. So middleware servers are very costly. That is the reason I am not using middleware server. And translations are more. Okay, and one more thing, middleware server, if it is getting spoiled, the entire architecture is getting spoiled and our system won't work. But one advantage is there. This is nothing but your application space, that is client side. So client is having one advantage, it is nothing but pure Java. That is the reason type 3, if you observe carefully here, I have written pure Java driver. Coming with 4 driver. 4 driver is also called as pure Java, and also it is known as thin driver. And as you can observe here, performance wise it is the most preferred, and it is one used in real time. Okay, come in diagram part. Diagram part, you have application, Java application interacting with database. Okay, this is direct Java driver. Now question comes, like normally in interviews it is asked, like this one. I was trying to open this one. Okay, interview question is this one. How to select right type of driver? So maybe you are getting confused, like we have discussed 4 drivers. Now which driver I need to choose? And as I repeated, type 4 is used in real time. It doesn't mean like type 1 is nowhere used and type 2 is nowhere used. It's still used in some application, but majorly used is nothing but type 1. So answer can be, it depends on application requirement on particular project. If you do not have opportunity to configure and opportunity to install and configure software on each client, we cannot visit each client, then what we need to do is we need to rule out type 1, type 2. Because type 1, we need to install some driver in type 1 machine, that is client machine. In type 2, I need to load some library files in client machine. Type